Hello, my name is Lynn. Welcome back to my channel or whatever. And today's video is not really a script for it, but I do have some things that I wrote in a journal. As always, keep that thing on me. But I want to explain the binary to the spiritual peoples. Basically, I want to talk about the binary as a science, as a way that we are socialized. And so I want to start this video off with thinking of some words that come to mind when you hear the word binary. When I think of binary, if I just looked at the word itself, I would focus on the bi. I would focus on the word bi, and I would look around and apply that to life. Bicycle, bisexuality, you feel me? I'm not gonna say that because I wear those, and that's just a touchy subject. Anyway, thinking about what can I infer based on just those couple examples. What does this word mean based on other things in the world that I see that this word is a part of? And to me, it gives two. And so spiritual girlies, 222. 222, 222. Tell me what it means. Somebody comment down below and tell me what the angel number 222 means, please. But whatever it means, keep that in mind. Look in the comment section and see if someone's pinned it. If someone's commented, I'll pin it. Close enough. And so, basically when I'm thinking about twos, I'm thinking about, okay, I have two options, either or, you feel me? Either or makes me feel this impending anxiety, that if I had to apply that sensation in my body to the definition of a binary and how I see that in practice in the world around me, it would be all or nothing. I also think about gender when I think of binary. That's probably what most people who click on this video think about when they think about binary, or words like it, which is gender or sex, and how typically there's two slots you can fill that is recognized and honored in the part of the world that I live in. Tell me what part of the world you live in, and tell me what is that world's relationship to binary, or what is that world's relationship to gender. But my world's relationship to gender, I know that I am the youngest of 4 children, and I had 3 older brothers. I still have 3 older brothers, but as most people know who know me, one of my brothers was murdered in 2020. And so I grew up in a house with all boys. I had 3 older brothers. I have 3 older brothers, and I have 2 cousins that grew up in the house with me. That was also a boy, so I was surrounded by a lot of boys, period. And I remember growing up hearing things from my caregiver, like I prayed to have a little girl expressing this gratitude, this godly gratitude, if you will, of me being a girl. And I remember at some point in my life, I was in elementary school because I was really young still, but I wasn't baby, so like at least older than like second grade. A plumber was coming over, and all of my siblings and brother cousins had their shirts off. I had my shirt off too. It was like during the summertime. I remember my caregiver pulling me to the side and telling me that I need to put a shirt on because little girls ain't supposed to walk around like that. And you feel me, the plumber's about to come over. And I cried about that. And I was so hurt at the time. And what hurt me the most is that I was the only one who they had that conversation with. And so all my brothers put on shirts in solidarity with me because, you feel me, real recognize real, them as some real niggas. But I think that kind of shaped what I would later run into was this scrutiny, it felt like, over my chest. And so when I was in 5th grade, I know I talk about this in my, I think it's my community wannabe video. I'll link it down below. But there's an instance when I was in 5th grade. To make a long story short, if you want to hear the whole story, go watch that video. Make a long story short, I wore a uniform to school. It was like we had to wear these like button-up polos. And I remember one day I was leaving the cafeteria, and literally the only black teacher, wasn't even my teacher at the time, pulled me aside and said that I need to button my shirt all the way up and that my chest was distracting. I know on my Instagram I have actual pictures of myself at that age, and it was not giving no distraction. Like, I'm not even above titties distracting me, and then what I was working with was not giving distracting. And so, yeah, I kind of just instantly disassociated from my body. I'm not even sure if I've ever been back in it since that, to the degree that I was before that. And I just remember walking to class and like just being on like this autopilot where I could no longer feel space around me. Everything felt stuffy, I guess, if I had to like explain that sensation in my body. And so, yeah, everything outside of me felt blurry. My autistic people know what I'm talking about. So, yeah. After that, I remember that day I came home from school. They had called my mom and let my mom know about my titties being distracting. And we were scheduled to have a meeting with the principal and counselor the next day. And so we walk into this meeting, and it's just a round table of white women, one black woman, and then my mama and myself. And I remember, after the meeting, my mama was just like, okay, when you get home, we're gonna go get you some undershirts, and today just make sure your shirt is buttoned all the way up to the top. They had told her that I was like pulling my shirt down and like pushing my boobs up, and I wasn't. Like, I was like a kid, so my titties was just perky. Like, we're a long way from perky sound today, but just that interaction in itself, for one, it was an abuse of power. For two, was racism, sexism, and white supremacy. And for three, it was very fucking violating. And again, I was reminded that if I was a man, I would not be experiencing this. And this happened to me by the time I was 10. So it was my 5th grade year. I had just started my period, my 4th grade year. So it was a lot. It was a lot of rude awakenings. I was talking with a friend today about how spiritual awakenings can be very rude. My mama has this saying where I grew up hearing, you'll learn your lesson either by feather or by freight train, nigga. Watch my channel and guess what type of anyway, so saying that to say, my rude awakening to what it is like being, I didn't feel like a woman at the time, so just being a femme child, being a dark-skinned femme child in a predominantly white world, because at the time, like, the institution that I went to for schooling was all white, all fucking white in this bitch. And so, yeah, that introduction was just violating. And that is kind of how I got, I guess, stamped onto the binary. Before that, like I said, I hung out with all boys. I did everything boys did until one day I couldn't anymore because I wasn't a boy. All the things I was capable of doing, all the things I enjoyed doing, all the things I had been doing, I could no longer, because, well, that's not what little girls do. So, yeah, I'm saying that to say, when I'm thinking about myself outside of the binary, I have to think about these stories that I've experienced within institutions, for one, and within my home life, because I was never introduced the concept of self-actualization ever as a child. Like, I had to figure that out myself. And when it comes to gender, I still am unpacking my relationship to gender, acknowledging all of the ways that I have been groomed into believing that this is what girls do, this is how women look, and this is what you need to do because of the response that you're going to get for those things from the world around you. And so I think there's a lot of conversations about gender being something that children aren't capable of identifying within themselves. And when I think back to my childhood experiences, the way that adults gave me gender and the way that adults forced girlhood and womanhood onto my small, fragile, feminine fucking body was in the manner of a predator. Like, it was in the manner of, like, fucking wolves. And so if you have a queer child that is visibly queer, that is vocally queer, that is queer within their ideology, I'm proud of you. If there's still contact with you and you're a parent, I'm proud of you. If they no contact with you, I don't even know why. I don't even know how I ended up in your algorithm, my nigga. You got to go get your shit together. You over here watching YouTube videos, and you need to get them kids on that phone. You need to really, yeah, bitch, I'm not gonna, yeah, bitch, you're not welcome here. But, yeah, as for, you feel me, allies and, you feel me, other community members, you always welcome here. But also, all my spiritual girlies, I know it can be easy to, like, idealize things and say, like, these blanket statements of solidarity, like, yeah, be who you want to be, like Barbie's fucking slogan, girl. That's not what is given over here. And it comes a point in your spirituality where you really need to do the shadow work to be able to deepen your understanding about yourself, about the world around you, and about the role of the word. And so there are other things in this world that I live in. Again, feel free to tell me about the world that you live in the comment section below. But the world that I live in, there are other things that are also on the binary, and doing the shadow work to unpack my relationship to gender and how this binary gave that to me in a way that was brutal and that's been so crucial. I'm connecting that to, well, what else is on a binary in the world? that I live in. And I think about politics, and I think about conservatives, and I think about liberals. And I also think about as above, so below. And what we know about as above, so below is that everything just is, and that there is no degree of separation. And so if I can recognize that in my gender identity, and I am recognizing that in my gender identity because I'm doing this shadow work, because I'm remembering really hard things that I know all of us go through, but we are taught not to talk about it. I'm also looking at everything else with the same lens, which is how I want you to see yourself is how I want you to see the world. Because as within, so without. And so if you are non-binary and you are rejecting the binary when it comes to gender, but you do not reject the binary when it comes to politics, you are not rejecting the binary when it comes to anxiety, the all or nothing, and going as far as to not even acknowledge it, that's not cash money, nigga. That's not no real nigga shit. It's not enlightenment. Yeah. And so, yeah, basically, I didn't really have a script for this video, so I don't have really an African proverb, so to speak, but I do have a new African perspective that I wrote while reading this book called Night Vision. And it's the new African. It's the epitome of this empire, the essence of abundance. We don't need permission. In the worst conditions, rich skin, rich intellect, rich production and resources. Still piss poor. Okay. And yeah, talk to me in the comment section if I need to make a script for this and elaborate and lock in more. I can do that. If you need a visual representation of what thinking outside the binary is, that's coming up next, because what you need to know about me is my name is Lynn and I am an author. I am a painter and I am a bookmaker. And so, yeah, expect a part 2 where I'm gonna depict to my girlies that learn visually. But I really hope this makes sense to somebody. All right, I'll holler at you.